At the Kitchen Table with Soraida and Friends is proudly sponsored by Classic Homes. We make it better than new with the classic touch.
You got too many cooks living in the kitchen. You don't know what you've been missing.
Welcome to At the Kitchen Table with Soraida and Friends. I am super excited about the two men sitting across from me. I am excited for anyone watching or listening to get to know more about you. So let's start off and pretend that no one knows you, Ty. Who is Ty?
I'm Ty Benny. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota by way of Vietnam, and I got to Oregon through Willamette University and have had the opportunity to be a part of the community ever since I got into Willamette through the YMCA and working in different places with Bubba, and very thankful for the community that had reached out and kind of wrapped their arms around me when he graduated in COVID and there's not much going on. So blessed to be here, blessed to have all the experiences I've had and everything we're looking to do for the city of Salem.
And you run a pretty cool complex.
I do. The NPJ Sports Complex that got together about 2021 the programs moved out of the hoop, and we started in our location in the fall and have been running it and managing it ever since. It's been a great place to get people of all walks of life together to play volleyball and basketball, and it's also been a blessing to house two great massage therapists and a chiropractor and kind of show a lot of the college or a lot of the kids that are aspiring to play in college what taking care of your body really looks like on that side, as well as what it looks like on the field and on the court.
I love that. And you? Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Billy Powers. Moved to Salem 36 years ago. 35 years ago this December. 36 years ago in December. Sorry. Doing my math. And moved here because my wife was finishing up college. I was not doing anything other than working, and my contract with my job there had ended. So I moved down here once we got engaged, and been here ever since. Did not plan on staying in Salem. Started working for Parks and Rec as a seasonal referee for basketball in the, I think, January of 90, and kind of morphed into a full-time career. I had worked at the Statesman Journal for 15 years, and my position there was I was offered to go back to an original or get what they called RIFTed, reduction in force, and took that buyout. And Parks and Rec said, hey, we need some help. And so I was doing some stuff, and the softball contractor gave it back to the city, and they asked me to help a little with that. And 20 years later, this coming year, I took the program over thinking I'll be here for a year or two doing this, and fell in love with running the complex. I run Wallace Marine Softball Complex for the city of Salem, overseeing the leagues, tournaments, rentals, and running the national tournaments. And a big majority of my job is that, overseeing the national tournaments and going in bidding them at conferences from the different associations. So that's kind of where I'm at. I've raised my family here, 4 kids. Last one's a senior in college, and they're all off doing their own things. And so we're just here to really watch Salem get better at everything. So
that's beautiful. And I love that both of you bring people into this community to experience what Salem is. Because sometimes we can have the, oh, woe is me, but what's going well? You two are both a prime example of what's going well. You have these people that come in from other places and get to experience the hospitality that Salem can offer. And I think that is just wonderful. How many people do you think travel? I think this is interesting to me. I don't think that people realize the economic impact it has to your city when you do the hard work for these big tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, over at the complex, we'll have tournaments basically every weekend from December through mid-April, and we'll usually house about 600, sometimes up to 800 people a tournament day, either a Saturday and then a Sunday with 2 different tournaments. So we get a lot of people coming down. Most of our players and most of the teams coming are about an hour, sometimes hour and a half out. There's not too many that are too much further than that. But you do get the Southern Oregon, you get the coast teams, and then you get some of the Bend teams. So it's really cool to be able to bring them in, obviously, for the sports that we all love to watch and be a part of, but then also give them an opportunity to taste some of Salem, whether it's the restaurants that are around the complex or downtown, or just some of the hospitality if they are coming from a little further, and some of the hotels.
Yeah.
So at softball, we run anywhere from 26 to 28 weekends a year, just depending on the weather. We schedule usually 28, and if we get 26 in, we're tickled with that. Average is probably 24, 25 just because of weather. They vary in different types. We have adult tournaments, slow pitch. Those will bring in 30, 40 teams, probably little under half will be from out of town. Because they've really gone to one-day tournaments, a lot of them are within an hour and a half to 2 hours, so they don't stay. But there's always 3 or 4 teams that come out of Seattle, Medford, Eastern Oregon will come over and stay. The youth tournaments is where we draw the out-of-town teams, especially when you're running the 14 and unders, because mom and dad have to bring their other kids. They don't get to leave them at home. You get up to the 16, 18-year-olds, you might cut down. But on a weekend with 24 teams, which is a typical tournament, we will probably have anywhere from 800 to 1,000 people in the park both days, just rotating them in and out. And then we have our nationals that, like 2 summers ago, we had 58 teams. 12 of them were from within 3 hours. Everybody else was farther away. So town was packed. We had, I think it was 40 some teams out of California between Southern Cal and NorCal. And when they come to the 10Bs and the 12Bs, they bring everybody, grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, because it's their first national and everybody wants to come. And, we get to show Salem off in those. That's our big pride, is that we are an award-winning complex and city for the nationals we put on. We've won the James Fair Award of Excellence 19 years in a row for over 60 some tournaments.
Nice.
They only give you 1 trophy each year. They just put how many tournaments you ran that made their points criteria. And
well, maybe you'll get a special 20th.
Well, this year's trophy, you can ask Tom Garlock. It weighs like 10 pounds. And I had to convince him to bring it back from Oklahoma because my bags were already on the edge of weight because of all the stuff we take. But yeah, no, it's, the economic impact that we have is, that's our pride and joy, that we want to bring people to Salem, tell them about it. I mean, Ty can tell you as well as anybody, if they're not playing for 4 or 5 hours, they're going to do something. Especially if the complex is so packed that, you don't want to sit inside.
Or get out of the heat or get out
and just
the
get
bad
your
weather,
kids
whatever
away.
it is. Yeah.
And that's the great thing about Salem is you don't realize it living here, but there's just a lot of input by the community. I mean, the restaurants and the hotelers, really do welcome the teams. Even though they can be a little bit of a pain at times,
But they're making core memories.
Yeah, that's exactly. Ooh, I'm going to tell you that next time you call me. I'm going to use that with Scott at the Grand, especially.
Billy,
they're playing hide
your
and seek
kids,
in the
they're
linen
playing,
garden.
they're door ditching.
Yeah.
Just say, Soraida calls that a core memory.
I'm going to use that the next time one of the hotelers tells me they have an issue.
Did you travel with sports when you were growing up?
Not too much. I played a lot of YMCA ball and got a lot of different opportunities within some sports, but really by 7th, 8th grade, I knew that basketball was not going to be the one for me. And I kind of had to pick between soccer and football, and football traveled a lot less than soccer, and I could figure out how to hit people in football. And soccer, I just got carded and asked to leave the game. So
Because he hit people.
Because you hit people.
I'm going for the
wrong
ball.
rules.
I'm going for the ball. But it was fun, the times that we did get to travel. And I mean, it's kind of cliche, but you hear it all the time where, the game was the game. I couldn't remember half the scores, but just the times we'll say outside of the hotels now, and times just kind of hanging out with the team and getting to know the people, whether it's other players and some of their families or the coaches, and some of the life outside of just coaching that you get from them. Those are definitely the core memories and bonds that I remember from being able to get out and about.
What sold you to Salem coming from Minnesota, like where you're like, oh, well, I'm it?
Well, to be honest, the U of O was my dream school. It just had all the bells and whistles during the 2000s and whatnot, the 2010s. Oregon was kind of on fire with, and they still are. It's nice to see them really contending. But I mean, just a powerhouse for a football team. And at some point in some place in my life, I thought that maybe could walk on. Maybe I could be 5'10". Maybe I can put this weight on. But when that didn't happen, and I was kind of looking at schools and the reality of the cost and tuition, Willamette gave me a really good package. And it was kind of one of those schools on the Common App that I just kind of clicked, just in case. I knew the West Coast was somewhere I wanted to go after being in the Midwest for 17 winters. Time to get out and see some different weather. And it was just great to be able to find a spot that, I didn't go to Willamette because it was a big party school. I didn't go to Willamette because it had all these great bells and whistles and different things. But the things that it did have with the community, with just how important the name and the brand and the education is around the country, was definitely what kind of swung me to really take a look at Willamette. And then walking through campus, seeing the Millstream and just seeing kind of like how close everything was, but also how spread out in a way that some of the things were. It
really is a beautiful campus.
It was really easy to kind of hook me on the campus.
Yeah, it's a great place to walk through during the fall, especially.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. And then you got heavily involved and kind of started your relationships here in the Northwest.
Yeah. So it's always been tough on my family. Going back home to Minnesota has always been interesting and fun and seeing everybody, but I like to be 100% in what I do. And coming out here, I just saw some of the breaks, some of the Thanksgiving and winter breaks as times to explore on my own and, not really have that weight of school, but also have a little bit more adventure time, going through Portland, going through one of the other things that sold me about Salem was just 45 minutes to an hour away from everything, whether it's the mountains, whether it's the coast, U of O, or up in Portland, OSU. There's just so much that you can do within an hour of the space, and then just diving deeper throughout my breaks and finding those real local restaurants and finding those real like hangout places to go was always a big fun for me.
Sounds great, right?
Yeah, I can see why he came here, especially with him having not grown up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how, you both are so involved and invested in the kids and the communities. And I think absolutely everyone I've had at this kitchen table, we really just want to see our community thrive in whatever that looks like and have our kids stay here and not move away.
Yeah.
Like that to me is like, I do not want to be a Meemaw where they're far, far away. And your parents are adorable. And I've had the opportunity to meet them and they're fantastic.
They love coming out here. They love spending time out here, and they're both retired. So they get to kind of do what they want in their time frame. So it's great to see them when they can come out and give them a little new thing every time, because there's only so much new stuff back home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because it's frozen half the year.
I was like, because of snow?
It's frozen or under construction. That's what they say. There's 2 seasons in Minnesota. There's winter and then there's construction.
That's fun.
They got to get in while they go. I think that what you've done with the NPJ is amazing. I mean, really. And doing that after COVID is amazing to get everything raring to go. I mean, we know that pause. I feel like part of my mind just kind of shut that down because I don't want to remember that because I'm such a people person that really that's what fills my cup. And to be so where you're disengaged from everyone that I'm like, ugh, I don't want to remember, but I know it happened. I know it happened, but I don't want to remember. But to have that recovery, what does that look like for you over at the complex?
So
are you back to pre-COVID numbers?
Oh yeah, our numbers actually really didn't go down a ton. The city of Salem being in this governor's office, being 10 minutes from our field, we really had to look at the whole protocols. Damian Williams, who's passed away, was real involved with the governor's office on getting sports stuff going. And so he gave me the connection to the person that was put in front of ball sports. And very nice lady. Can't remember her name right now, but she knew nothing about baseball, softball. So I taught her about it, and we came up with some protocols. I was told weekend before Labor Day of that spring, or Memorial Day, that we were not going to probably run. We were going to shut down for the year. And I'd been working from the day myself and Lindsay Houston, my assistant, had been working from the day they told us we had to shut down to figuring out how we could.
Not shut down.
Not shut down. Exactly. What we could do to play. And I got called by my boss and told, hey, you have till Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock to sail the leadership team at the city of Salem on a plan. Because I'd been talking with him and our director quite a bit. So Lindsay and I spent the weekend on the phone because we weren't allowed to be in the same room and figured it out. I met with my boss on Tuesday morning and gave him the whole plan. He said, I can't have you at the meeting because only 6 of us are allowed in the biggest conference room the city owned. And so he went and sold it. And the city manager had actually already said, we're shutting down.
Had already made that internal decision.
He just didn't think it was possible. So he went and met with them. So we were allowed to play, started the next week. I believe it was the first Monday in June. And, we wore masks. We separated the the umpire and back a few feet extra, and slow pitch was easier. But it worked. We obeyed the rules. We knew we were 10 minutes from their office. They could show up. And what I was told by Steve Powers, no relation, the city manager at the time, was if you get shut down, you'll be done for the year. So if the governor's office came over and said you're breaking your own rules that we allowed, then you get shut down. Friends running complexes in other areas of the state, no names mentioned, Medford, they didn't have to worry about it. They had a 4-hour warning if they were coming.
Right.
Mine was, hey, we're at the gate. Can we come in and see you?
We're coming over the bridge.
Yeah. Well, because we didn't let anybody but players in and the spectators could sit, we could separate them on the outfield, watch them from outside. We were allowed to do that. We were the most popular place in the Northwest because Washington, Portland, Idaho was the only other ones really running anything. And Idaho was kind of the Wild West. And California, they couldn't. So we were getting everybody. And, we had to check them in at the gate. We had to make sure that at one point we had to make sure they had their COVID vaccines, which,
oh my gosh.
See, I am talking for every team stacks of paperwork that we still have to have. This is the last year. We get to get rid of it this year. But it's like,
praise the Lord.
Yeah. So our numbers went down probably about 20% during that. Our adult players wanted to play. Our weekend tournaments were sold out because we were one of the only ones running. And so the next year we were back up about 10%. And since then, we have the most leagues we've had going since probably 2009. We shortened up a couple nights because we were running 4 sessions, which for leagues, we do 2 doubleheaders or 4 rounds. So you play at 6:20, 7:30, 8:40, and 9:50. And the 9:50 game, that means you're not heading home till midnight. And we lost a lot of teams due to swing shifts. If you work at the hospital, you have to be to work at 6 a.m. on a lot of their shifts. So that I lost 4 teams from the hospital that not even connected to the hospital. Just all of them were friends and played. But we've built that back up. We have a kickball league that just blew up during COVID. I mean, we started it as, it was kind of
What year did you start that?
Maggie was still here. That was probably 2012 maybe.
Yeah.
And it started out as a joke. Intern that was in our office. We were short on Friday nights league or swing shifts when the lumber industry went down. I lost all of those teams that were working in the mills and they wanted to play Friday night because they were off, didn't have to go to work the next morning. But when this lumber industry kind of went down in 2007 to 2008, that really hurt Friday night league because it was all those guys. And we were short, I think it must have been 2010, 11. I'll have to double check that. I feel like it was yesterday, I realized it's been 20 years, but
that's what I was thinking. I remember when you first started, we had a team. And I was like, was that not that long ago?
No. So My assistant at that time was Maggie.
Ty was like in elementary school. He's like, I'm with some dinosaurs right now.
Were you in school yet?
He was like, elementary school.
She's making it elementary school. No, so this intern says to us that we had from Western Oregon, he turns around and he goes, you know what's really popular at Western Oregon right now? And we're like, what? And he goes, kickball. And then we're like, kickball, you know. So we kind of looked at it. He said, I can put a post on Facebook. Just tell me how much you want to charge. I'll see how many teams we can get. I know I'll get one from Western. 2.5 hours after he posted from Facebook, I had these teams coming in to sign up. We wanted 10 teams to fill the night. We got 10 teams and then some. And just since then, it's morphed. The higher level softball that we just had a great talk with Tim Davis, who was one of those guys back in the day that played 6 nights a week and all over the nation. Those guys have kind of disappeared over the last 20 years. They're not. We used to be a hub of that, but most of them are just playing tournament ball. If they play in league, it's so that they get their swings. So our league, which used to be when I started here, we probably had 10 of the top teams in the Northwest playing on Thursday nights. That's dwindled down, and it's now kind of guys that are playing tournaments, but they're not the level Tim was, where they're traveling the world and getting paid to show up. So we added kickball to that, and this last year, I think we had somewhere between 68 and 70 some teams for our 3 sessions. Not each session, but total. Some of the teams play every session. They never miss a time. Other teams, we play spring, we play fall, like Rory that kind of runs the team for the Grand. And they'll play either summer or they'll play summer fall. Because in the spring, you guys all are parents that work at the hotel. It's hard to be there with, MPJ thinks you got to play volleyball and stuff in the spring. So, parents have to be parents still. But that's who's playing. It is not young kids. It is, the average age is in the late 30s. And it's a recess sport. U-Trip runs national, or runs a kickball thing, and they call it the recess sports.
I like that.
So, yeah.
Have you played?
Kickball, not out there, but not yet.
We're going to get Ty in his MPG.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to start putting teams in. It's been actually really interesting because I kind of came into NPJ just as like your toilet scrubber and being able to kind of get the keys to it and grow and manage a team. And, that was one thing that I wasn't necessarily expecting as much on my head, but it's been great. It's been really cool just to see the individuals that come in that, if you show them good love, they'll show you a lot of great work ethic as well. And it's one of those things now that you continue to grow something that's really good and popping and fun. To be honest, it's really fun to see some of my staff go to work on the open gym nights, and they know they get to see at least 5 or 6 of their friends that are going to go and play, or just seeing the energy in the gyms, whether it's basketball and we got 40 dudes out there for 2 courts just not wanting to come off because they know they got to sit for 2 or 3 games, or it's volleyball and we're packing 60 to 80 people and they're on a Tuesday night just because it's fun. So we'll get over there soon.
And it's something you look forward to. I mean, both of you are in charge of, really core memories. Like these are memories that families and friends are making, and like that's like a good part of the day. It's not like, I gotta go to the dentist. And you're like, that sounds horrible. Like, you're going to watch your nieces or your grandkids. And I just think that's amazing. Okay. So anybody that's listening, maybe they don't know a lot about volleyball. What age group?
So as a club, the NPJ Volleyball Club is like the big organization that runs the complex, or that is in the complex the most. And they have teams and groups from 12U all the way up to high school and 18U. And they kind of take care of a lot of the stuff on the youth side. So it's been fun on my end to be able to grow more of the 18 plus, more of the adults in the evenings, and kind of giving something where early and mid 20-year-olds have something to do in the evenings other than go to bars and kind of hang out. And, it's like you guys have said, it's recess at the end of the day for a lot of us older people. And it's, I say us.
I was just to say, is he in that category?
He's trying to make us feel good.
After we talked about him being in grade school.
But it is really fun, and to be able to operate as like a recess monitor and know that yes, everybody's going in with their friends, but everybody can still find ways to congregate as a community and play together. We have a huge Islander population that mixes very well with the regular and the other kind of Salem populations that come out, and it's one of those things where sometimes you get nervous because the rules are a little different depending on whose backyard you play in. But,
right? Like Monopoly.
Absolutely. But being able to bring everybody together and kind of house them for just, you can take it as serious as you want, but it's just good exercise and it's good community, just good community.
It's feel good. So yeah, and you really do care. Both of you care deeply about this community.
Well, and I think, Ty is a great example. Came here for college. Did he dream he'd stay here? Probably not. I mean, I didn't.
Did you dream you'd be here?
Nope. I actually, when I moved here, my wife's and I's plan, we met through Young Life at Malibu Club in Canada, working on staff. My dream was to run one of their camps. Interviewed for a couple, but they wanted me to work in an area that I was very experienced in. But the guy kept saying, "Oh, our last guy was in this spot for 20 years." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not taking that job. I'm not going to do that for 20 years." And then kind of, I worked at the Statesman. I worked some other jobs for the first 5 years we were here, and then fell into love with Parks and Rec. Unlike Ty, I did not play a lot of Parks and Rec in Spokane. I went to parochial school. Almost all my sports were in that. Didn't travel. We didn't travel at all for that. My biggest traveling was my dad was into auto racing, super modified and sprint car racing. And we went everywhere from Prince George, BC, which is pretty much almost Alaska, on the highway up there, the Alaska highway, all the way to Phoenix, Arizona. And I was given a choice in 8th grade. I was playing baseball. We were right in the middle of tryouts. I was not a great baseball player, but I was going to be, on the team, and I probably would have played on the field. And my dad said, "Your games are on weekends this year." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm going racing. We're taking the race car. We're leaving on Fridays. Do you want to go racing or that?" And at that point in my life, in 7th, 8th grade, I still thought I was going to win the Indy 500 5 or 6 times,
Right.
Was racing go-karts at a pretty high level. And that was our travel. So moved here. I had ref basketball. I coached high school basketball in Spokane my last couple of years there. And I moved here to get married, and my wife actually's best friend from high school was a teacher at St. Joe's. We go to lunch the second day I'm in town. I haven't found a job yet. And she says, "Hey, you're a basketball coach." "Yeah, I got a 5th grade, 6th grade team that needs to play in the Parks and Rec League. I need a coach." And before I can say I need to get a job, my wife says he'll do it. And so those poor kids, most teams practice at 6, 8 o'clock at night in a Parks and Rec League. Mm-hmm. We practiced in 6 in the morning because I then got a job in Portland.
Oh my gosh. You are a parent's nightmare.
Hey, it was their call. They didn't have a coach. I said, I can do 6 a.m. So we practiced only twice a week for an hour. But
probably traumatize those parents.
Well, who was the most person that was the most angry with me doing that practice? The nun that was in charge of the altar boys, because the 8 a.m. mass or 7 a.m. mass, her boys were all playing for me. And I made the top. I go into this 5th grade, 6th grade team, nightmare coach. You're not at practice, you're probably not starting. Rec league. So they were all canceling on their being the altar boy for the 7 a.m. mass.
Oh my gosh.
Great group of kids. Best player breaks his leg skateboarding the second week of the season. So out of that, I get to know the referee because I'm that nightmare coach. I'm going to talk to the referee the whole game, and him and I actually become good friends, Rob Graham. So I run into him. I'm actually taking the assistant manager job at the roller rink because my wife was on the weekends because my wife was finishing her teaching certification at Linfield and was never home. And I was bored out of my mind. I didn't know hardly anybody in town and had accepted this job. And I ran into Rob at the mall just before Christmas. And he's like, I'm 90. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you going to coach this year?" And I go, nah. Those kids all left St. Joseph. They've all moved on to the high school. And he goes, or junior high. And he goes, "Want a ref?" Well, tells me how much they pay, and then I figure out what I'm getting paid at the roller rink to be in charge of some,
Yeah.
I grew up in a roller rink.
Me too. I
Skated.
did.
I speed skated for 12 years of my life, and it was like, that was always fun, They offered me a lot more money. I just had to work Saturday and go to meetings on Wednesday night. Out of that, I started being in charge of gyms for the adult leagues, the high school leagues, and, but it was just being involved in this town. And it's great to hear Ty kind of had that experience where the town got him pulled in. And that's the great thing I love about Willamette. I mean, I can't tell you how many Willamette kids have worked for me at the softball complex. And it's always, Rob, the AD, former AD there, calling me up, hey, I got a couple kids that need a job. Got softball players, which when Damien was the coach, him and I always fought because he wanted to schedule a team trip on Labor Day, which was always a big national. It's like, you're taking my 3 best workers away, But yeah, that's what this town's about. You're saying is the community. And I love our community. Now, do we have issues in Salem? Yeah, we have issues in Salem. Everybody does. But I think, we put on a very good show. It's the word I use, but it's not real. Events citywide. I mean, from us to MPJ to the Capitol Fieldhouse now, the former Hoop. I mean, when you're in the basketball
CFC.
world, to CFC. I mean, Colin, if you haven't been out State Street, you need to go look at their building they're putting up. It's a monster, and it is going to be so cool for the community. Because that's a great thing about Colin.
So exciting.
Yeah.
And to have it in different areas. So it's not just congested in West Salem or South Salem or what.
Okay, they're all congested anyway.
Yes. But, to have it just everywhere and you see it growing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's exciting, and I'm really excited about the collaboration that's going on between our different sports. I mean, Ty and I are both on the Salem Area Sports Commission, as is Soraida and her friend Chad. But it's just Joey who has come in and
Travel Salem.
Joey
Joel.
Yeah, Joey Joel has really given us a vision of more than Salem's ever had, I believe. Angie's been behind this, Debbie McCune before, that we wanted to grow this group. And I think Joey being with his background, is really helping us to bloom that. And
I like the different perspectives, the diversity of thought, the diversity of ages and how you look at things. Or just for example, who would have thought kickball? But you have someone that's younger and says, hey, look at this. And I'm a big believer, I really don't like, this is the way we've always done it. Like, okay, flip the table. Like, doesn't mean that that's the way we have to do it forever. I mean, I'm not saying create 5 wheels on a car, but I'm saying it's okay. That works. But to just look at things and we can morph them and we can mash them up. And, Billy and I come from a world of where we can remember when you didn't carry a cell phone around.
You have no idea, do you?
I do. I was on the tail end of it. I still have the memories of knowing where everybody was based off of the bikes in the front yards. I still knock on doors. It's weird, I know, but it's definitely one of those things that I get to say, well, actually, we did grow up without cell phones. It was either calling the house phone, or if you didn't want to talk to parents, then it was going and knocking on doors and hoping they were the ones that answered.
Right? Like, can they play?
So what grade were you in when you got a cell phone?
My first phone came in 7th grade when I went to middle school, because I'd sold my parents on the thought that, well, if you guys don't want to drive me, then I'm going to bike to school. And if I bike to school and I get hurt, how am I going to let anyone know?
Whoa, just go straight for the heartstrings.
And that was the only reason and use that I ever had a phone for 7th grade and up. That's just in case.
Yeah. I was 27.
You're like, do you want me to get her? I don't even want to think about when I was like, I remember pagers.
Yep. Did you ever have a pager, Ty?
Right.
No, swinging.
Right. Date yourself without dating yourself. I had a pager. Oh my gosh. So holidays are coming up. What are some of your, I want to know, favorite foods on Thanksgiving? Get to know the personal side of you.
I would say for me, stuffing and turkey's okay. I'm a once or twice a year guy, stuffing or turkey, but stuffing is always awesome.
I love it
with the gravy. And then my mom makes a Jello salad that's with cream cheese and whipped cream, and I'm now the master of it for us. And I got a feeling we're going home for Thanksgiving to see my mom and my daughter and I going. I got a feeling I'm going to be making that at her house because whenever I make it, I have to call her for the recipe because I can never remember it and I write it down and I lose it. But it seems like she always sees the picture. She's like, the fruit salad you make, we're doing that. So
I love that.
Yeah, and then pumpkin pie.
Cool Whip or whipped cream?
Whipped cream, either or. I mean, depends on how much sugar I've had for the day.
What's some of your favorite foods?
So this is really going to put me in the Midwest.
If you say grits, that's like the Midwest comfort food.
I grew up on cornbread. It
was one of those I like that.
You think it's very healthy because it has corn in it, and you don't really ask about the other things. But corn, it's super easy, super almost plain, but just always a staple at the kitchen table.
Cornbread, that's solid. I love stuffing and I love a good gravy. When somebody does a good gravy, like with the turkey drippings. And I could just eat the mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing. I don't need the turkey.
Yeah.
Like
it's probably the smallest thing on my plate is the turkey.
Yes, and definitely pumpkin pie. When I was young, I really liked pecan pie. But I think it's just too... Because as I'm getting older, the sugar bothers me. So the pecan pie is just a little too sugary for me now.
What's your dessert?
Dessert? My uncle always bakes and makes the best cookies, just a huge assortment of them. Oh. So it's kind of whatever you're feeling at the time. But
cookies all day long.
Right?
That's part of the issue.
Yeah.
They make so much and they're so small. It's like, okay, I'll have 2 right now, and then I'll have 1 more right before dinner. And then, dinner goes later than it's supposed to. Okay, so we'll have 1 more. And now everybody's wondering because they're getting to the table and they're like, what happened to half of the cookies? And growing up, I was one of the only kids, if not the only kid at a lot of the family reunions and stuff. So there was really only, even if the uncle was the one eating them, there was really only one person that ever got blamed.
It was you.
Yep.
And since you're out here now, they know because there's cookies left over.
Yeah. Will you go to Minnesota for the holidays?
I don't know about this one. Again, it's, the winter in Minnesota is always very fun. But it has been nice. My parents have come out for the past couple and gives them another chance to come out here, and they usually bring the cookies. So can kind of get best of both worlds.
Nice. I can totally see the young Ty with your parents. They're so sweet saying, if I get hurt on my bike, I don't know. If I was a good parent, I'd buy me a cell phone, but such a diplomat.
Hey.
So my oldest, he got his in, I think it was 6th grade. I think you're a little older than Kale, maybe not. But his thing was, if I get straight A's in 6th grade, can I have a cell phone? And it's like, he's a top B student in grade school.
He hadn't got it in him. Sure, honey.
Oh, yeah. Straight A's 2 semesters in a row. It was like...
He earned it.
Yeah. Oh, he earned it.
He earned it.
But it was like, just didn't see him putting, he's like Ty playing sports, doing all this stuff, he probably could have been a 4.0 student all the way through. But we didn't dangle a car in front of him. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. That's great. And then we just go straight into December.
Yeah, it's like, and for me, December's as busy office-wise, if not busier during November, December, January are the busiest months for us. Office-wise, getting everything prepped, lining up the season.
And you're prepping for those tournaments. You got some big tournaments.
That's when my head kind of goes off my shoulders, and I just become accustomed to the work grind again. And it's tough. It is.
You put in some long days there. Like on those tournament days, what time are you there and what time do you leave?
Well, now is a little bit different. Now that we're all built out, that I can show, hey, we can afford staff. It's a little different, but definitely at the beginning, man, it was incredible. It was something where you don't really pick your head up because I'd be there until 1 or 2 in the morning on Friday nights, getting everything flipped over from basketball, into all the 6 volleyball courts, getting all the cones set out for parking and doing all those little things. Be back at like 5:36 in the morning Saturday. Go through the tournament from 7 a.m. until about 6 p.m. and then house all the rentals and all the communities coming in after until about 10, 11 p.m. and then turn around and do that again on Sunday, and then Monday kind of reorient myself and make sure that I'm still a person and I'm still alive, and then kind of get back to it on Monday afternoon through the week.
Yeah, you really, the sweat equity that both of you have and both of your organizations is apparent, and it's amazing. And volleyball is just blowing up. Didn't I hear just the boys volleyball just became a high school sport?
It did. It's huge. I think that on top of on the girls' side, girls flag football as well is just climbing. And it's really fun to see the emerging sports kind of take hold.
I think
because
so.
I've seen a lot of the guys that are playing on the South and Sprague and the Salem teams. I've seen them in the complex for a year and a half now, just getting as much touches in and just playing and just finding the love of the game, right? And I think that's what gets drowned out
For the love
a lot,
of the game.
is just the love of the game and playing. Because
And why are you playing?
Yeah.
And why are you here?
Because of who you're around, and whether it's for the top trophy in the nation or it's just something to do on the weekend. Like it's always been fun to kind of see people coming in and using the space and however they've wanted to use it.
And it is someone's resource for, what word am I looking for their mental health, just to blow some steam
Go out
off.
and play.
Just to play and be focused. That's how I feel like golf is. Like, you can't really think about a lot but that little ball and what you're swinging at. And you have the opportunity to clear your mind.
Exactly. Just get out and go play recess with some friends.
Recess. I like that recess sport.
We used it as advertising one year. When the electronic billboards first came on, the calls we got.
Right.
Is there going to be an official? Because recess was a nightmare.
Right.
So.
We need to bring back tetherball.
That would get violent pretty fast.
Yeah, right?
I
I got smacked in the face a couple times with a tetherball.
Have you guys done badminton out there? Tournaments at all?
We haven't done badminton. It's definitely something we're open to. We have the space for, but we've just kind of honed into what we've been good at and what has kind of stayed around the complex. So,
what age group plays out there?
In terms of
your tournaments, like what age group?
Most of the tournaments are youth. So we'll have like 12s and 14s or 16s and 18s and kind of double up the space like that. But we have this next weekend coming up, actually, we have a big tournament with a bunch of the Islander groups, a bunch of Micronesian groups coming in from all over, from Seattle, some from Northern California, I believe, and then a lot of the local Portland and Salem teams are coming on. So, and that's going to be an adult tournament. So it's cool to kind of see that piece of it as well.
Oh, very cool to see that.
I grew up in the elementary school I went to was a Spanish immersion school. So community and culture has always been around me and at the forefront of what I do. Graduated with an anthropology minor, couldn't spell it, but it's definitely something that was really cool just to be in the classes and learning about people and culture. And now being able to bring those, so we'll have like other dance and just other community festivals as well. And I think that's also something that brings me back to, the gym is a cool structure. It's a great place, but what you use it for and how you build community in it is definitely at the forefront of what we want to do.
Like the opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
Unlimited. That's fantastic. That's beautiful. It really is. I mean, to see all the different cultures.
Yeah. And I mean, Billy, you can probably attest to the same. Like, sports brings so many people from so many different backgrounds together, and you got to shut up and figure out how to play together, or you have to respect the game at the end of the day and shake hands at the end.
And I think that's really a key, because like Ty said, mostly youth tournaments. We do both. Mm-hmm. And we have, adult leagues. We don't run youth leagues because the complex was designed originally for the leagues for adults. That's why they built it and put it there. But we go everywhere from U9, 10 up, and the culture is just the mixtures. I mean, nationals 2 years ago, I think we had somebody from every type of community out of Southern California. And it was very interesting to see the rivalry between the different towns that came out of California. But then at the end of the day, it was a game and the girls were running around together. The parents may not have talked to each other for a couple hours, you know, even though they're next door neighbors. But it's just an awesome thing to see. The Islander community does a lot of stuff in the spring and early fall where they bring tournaments in. We haven't had them because they always want the weekends that are huge youth tournaments. But 2 years ago, they wanted to use Orchard Heights. They told me 400 people. That park's not big enough for 400 people. So they ended up.
What's wrong with making
I was driving. I went to Kaiser Station for something, REI or something. And I thought, I hadn't been there since it had been taken over by the Walkers. So I was going to swing by and see what they'd done with these turf mats that they were doing. And I pull up and the parking lot's packed on Labor Day. And I'm like, it's really weird. What's going on here? Well, that's where they ended up using the baseball field there. I mean, they had 20 tents set up in the parking lot. It was a fundraiser for backpacks for back to school for their community. And then there was another 5 or 6 tents with just pizzas piled on top of each other that they were feeding all the spectators and the players. And I was like, wonder how much money they're making off that. They weren't. It was all paid for out of their community for anybody that was there to eat. I did not eat. But it was offered, you know, but that's the type of things that they do. And it is really cool to see a group like that or, you know, other cultures that come into town and want to do something. And they do. They want to, you know, a lot of times I get calls and they're like, we just need one field for 5 hours. And I'm like, well, on Sunday, we're booked. Can't do that. So they will use a bush park. They will use an Orchard Heights. Gear Park, you know, with the new turf fields, infields, they'll be using that. As we will be also running couple of our tournaments that we've always limited the number of teams. We're going to add to those by using Gear Park a little bit more. So, because we definitely, we use Orchard Heights a little bit, but the problem is when we use it back to back to back, the neighborhood has a lot of cars in it, and that's not what it was designed for. So we have to adjust to that. But Gear Park, the whole expansion, the skateboard park's going to open up here in a week or two, I hope. We were told before Thanksgiving, if everything goes right weather-wise, they're planning on opening it up. Dog parks, it's going to be a mess. I don't know if you've been by there, but the dog park is going to be huge.
Oh, I will have to.
Yeah,
okay. Anybody watching or listening? A new dog park?
Yeah, new dog park.
Where?
Yeah, it is to the west of the baseball fields, right at the end of the baseball fields. It's got
place
some
is
really
going
cool.
To be popular.
When we went on a tour recently with our parks planner Rob, he was sharing different things they're doing, and it's like sitting areas that have shade so that the dog owners can sit down and their dogs can run around. And
will they have like a small dog area, big dog area?
I'm not sure. I did not ask that question, and I actually thought of it the other day when I took some of my staff out to see the turf fields. The turf fields hopefully are going to be not as hot as the normal turf fields because we did not use the rubber tires that are used. We're using a crushed olive pits is the infield. And hopefully that'll help keep down the heat, and also just the whole thought, the parks, SPRAB, the Salem Parks and Rec Committee, said we don't want something that later on is going to be saying that it cost cancer. And this is was the alternative, little more money, but well worth it, I think. So the geese have not figured out it's turf grass yet, but I'm sure they will soon. So.
Turf grass
or turf, AstroTurf.
AstroTurf.
So they migrate to there from Canada, and we don't have to mow in the wintertime in Gear Park because we'd like them not to be there. But so they're finding out that the new turf infield probably don't taste very well.
No,
so
not attractive on that end. Favorite childhood Christmas gift or memory?
I've had the opportunity to go back to Vietnam a couple times in the winter, and that's always been honestly the best gift and the best time of the year for me. It's it was definitely something that you don't really know what you miss until you go there and until you experience it. And growing up in the adopted house that I was, it wasn't too much on that kind of Vietnamese side, but they did their best to keep me around it with any event that was happening, whether it was a Tet celebration down in the cities or just something Vietnamese, whether restaurants. My parents really made a conscious effort to make sure that I was ingrained as much as they could get me. So being able to visit was definitely something that was eye-opening to just the reality of where life could have had me, but also just being able to see places that are weirdly familiar, even though you've never been there, but it just feels like home, you know, whether it's at the park sometimes and you turn on the lights and you're like, well, doesn't really matter what time it is, doesn't matter what's going on, like this feels like where I'm supposed to be. So that's definitely been my favorite gifts, and very fortunate to have had those opportunities.
Tell me, so in the Vietnamese culture, Christmas, what does that look like?
So they celebrate Tet in kind of like more of the New Year, a little bit later than December, usually beginning of February. But it's really funny because you have all these Santa Claus costumes with all the skinny Asian dudes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And you have all the American charm over there, and you know, business is business, and how
it's like
moves,
a hodgepodge.
It's really fun just seeing how the culture kind of clashes and all the little things that they do over there in the bigger cities. And but yeah, that's probably some of the funniest, some of the best parts.
That's
awesome.
great. I love that. And I love the way that you described it. You know, your parents, I think us as people, we do the best that we can, right? Do we have learning moments? Yeah. Are we like, ooh, I wish I would have thought of that, or I wish I would have thought. But at the end of the day, we're all people that are just trying to do good.
And I think my parents set me up for a lot of success with that because, you know, growing up, everybody has their identity that they figure into, and they have their community and their cultures and different things, religions behind them that they grow up through. But you took this kid from Vietnam and slapped him in a Spanish immersion school in the middle of the Twin Cities, and
In Minnesota.
Go have fun. Go figure it out. Go be friends with everybody. One of my best friends growing up, who I just got to see for the first time in like 8 or 9 years, which is crazy. Because I don't feel like I'm that old. But one of my great high school friends.
Wait. No, just kidding.
He and his family are Guyanese, and they always had the best food. So Fridays and Saturdays, I was over there a ton growing up, and it was just another way for me to not really see the differences in people, but see like how cool other cultures and how good other food can be as well.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Favorite Christmas memory, gift?
So it's funny because grew up military kid. My dad traveled around a little bit when we were younger. 90% of our life was in Spokane at Fairchild, but we went to Guam, and just after Christmas in 1969, my dad was already there. My sister is 8 months old, I think. I can remember some of the great memories flying in over San Francisco. I'm 5 years old at the time. And I can remember this clear as a day, looking out the windows and seeing all the Christmas lights over San Francisco. But the following year, I think I either turned 6. I must have turned 6. All I wanted was a bike. I wanted my own bike, and I didn't want that bike my dad had stolen from his best friend down the block.
The hand-me-down.
Yeah, exactly. That there were training wheels on. So I got an orange, like bright orange Schwinn Stingray with the banana seat. Soraida knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He thought it was a vintage thing.
No, he's like, damn.
And I can remember in Guam on Christmas morning getting to go out and ride it. Spokane, record snow that year. So we wouldn't have got to ride bikes. Going out and riding in the rain and thinking, oh, this sucks. This is terrible. I would kill for a Christmas day as warm as that again, but it rained for an hour and then it was sunny the rest of the day.
And you got to ride your Stingray.
That's right. And I'd say after that, probably when I got my first G.I. Joe. Did you ever get a G.I. Joe tie? Probably not.
When I was young. Yeah.
When I think G.I.
Yeah.
Joes, like I feel like my brother growing up, the G.I. Joes were smaller, weren't they? Or did they get big? And they kind of varied on size depending on the years.
I think they have gotten bigger. Ours were. So my parents always, Santa Claus always came on Christmas Eve when we were at church.
Oh.
That was the year it was not. We got up at 3:30 in the morning, me and my brother, because we knew Santa was bringing G.I. Joes. That was the last year Santa came on Christmas morning. After that, it was always, he magically beat us home from church or my aunt and uncle's house for dinner. It was like,
oh my gosh.
So, it's just, but those are the two Christmas memories I don't think I'll ever forget. I mean, obviously 40, 50 years later, I'm still remembering those like they were yesterday.
Yeah, I can't remember I put my car keys, but I'll remember my Barbie dream house. Do you have a favorite gift that you got at Christmas that you really wanted?
I mean, just kind of the opportunity to go back to Vietnam was the couple times over Christmas break that we got to do that was definitely.
Did your parents go with you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they took me. We would go on like a tour. So there'd be another group, and one of my non-official, official aunts, she kind of put a lot of that together with a lot of other adoptee families. So it was really cool to be able to go, especially for the first time back and tour from the north to the south.
Oh, so you went with other kiddos that have been adopted?
Yeah. So it was cool to kind of share that experience, because for a lot of us and 12, 11-year-olds, like it was really the first experience outside the US, but also our first experience back in Vietnam since we were adopted. So it was really cool to kind of go through that with them without really talking about it too much and not really being able to process it just because of how young we were, but just to have other people around the same age group that were going through a lot of the similar things and shared a lot of the same experiences, whether it was meeting their biological parents or just being back in the space that they came from.
Knowing where you were brought into this world.
Yeah. So and Vietnam's always a special place. I had the opportunity to go back this past summer, spend my first birthday there since my first birthday there. And that was really fun. The food and everything is so different. It's like I went there and somehow lost weight while eating more than I've eaten. And just kind of staying, it's always a lot easier as well when you wake up sweating.
Yeah, I was just going to say the humidity.
But the food is just so clean and just so natural. Definitely my favorite types of food.
Yeah.
A little biased, but.
A little biased, right?
Do you speak Spanish and Vietnamese?
I don't speak Vietnamese.
Oh,
no, that was, learning was, I learned what I needed to learn. And obviously enough to get into Willamette and graduate from there. But languages were always hard. Especially not having somebody that I could speak to. The only reason I learned Spanish was because we get sent to the principal for speaking English. So had to kind of follow suit and make sure parents stayed happy with that. But no, I haven't had
principal's office.
Haven't had enough opportunity. I've tried a couple times here and there, but it's so tonal. The same word spelled the same way with a different inflection here or there means so many different things. And as some of you might know,
you're like, that was a compliment. Yeah, you're like, that was a compliment. I didn't say that.
Like, oh, that's not what that meant. So.
My bad.
So how about you for Christmas gift?
I think I was just thinking when I asked you, I think it was that Barbie dream house. But then I will say that there's some garbage memory in there where I was like, why is the Barbie dream house box here? Like Santa left the box. So I think that's when I first was like,
That's funny.
Did he just unbox it?
Set it all up.
Right? Set it all up with the Barbies. And now that you say G.I. Joes, I vaguely remember. I think mine was like in front of the tree when your parents set up. It was like all the Barbie. And I think it was all the G.I. Joe stuff. Yeah. I did really like, I don't even know, you know what this is, the Atari.
Oh, yeah.
Like one button, one stick. Like that's way more. My grandson will be like, here. And I'm like, there is way too many. You got buttons here, buttons here.
One joystick.
Yeah, one joystick on Atari. That's how I grew up. We had one button and a stick. Now there's like 10 buttons, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And he's probably really good at it.
Yeah.
I game when I can, but it was definitely one of those things that when I got to high school, it was like, okay, pick 3 buckets. Do you want to be smart? Do you want to play sports? Do you want to have friends? Do you want to play video games? So
That's high.
do you want to be a family man?
Yeah.
Right. So
5.
there you go. Pick a couple of the buckets and really invest your time into it, because I mean, the older that we get, I'll say we,
I love that.
just time ticks down, and you don't really realize it until you wake up and you're like, oh my God, it's Friday. And every day has felt like Monday. And,
Yeah.
you know, but things keep happening, and I'm blessed to still be able to coach football now over at Sprague High School now. But you know, those weeks are so important because it's like, okay, every Friday I have something big coming up. And now you get out of season and you start getting into like the big work season, and it's like, okay, we got 17 weeks of tournaments and it's almost week 1.
Right. Just keep your eye on the prize. And I think that's important. That's a great way to end this podcast, is that every day really is a gift. The opportunities, the relationships that we build. I'm blessed to have the relationship I have with both of you. I adore you both. I, love squeaking in a lunch when you want. You're like, oh my gosh, we haven't done this forever. It's because time flies by so fast. But you are, Ty, I'm just so excited. Everything you do is just great in it. And then you have friends like Billy that I've been friends with for, date myself, like 20 years. So that you see this great voyage, and that the time and the energy that you put into these things around us, they really do pay off, and it really does help grow and nurture our community.
Yeah. And I just want to end and say one more thing. It's his name has been brought up a couple of times. Damian Williams, he was my mentor through college, and especially right after, he was a big reason for me to come back. I actually went to Minnesota for about a month and a half. Started to get cold after COVID in college, graduating in 2020. Started getting cold, so called Damo back up, and hey, like, you got anything? Like, anything. I'll come back and figure this out. And he's like, I got an unpaid internship for you. I was like, oh, okay.
Damian's favorite position, unpaid.
Yeah. But just kind of wrapping it up, he definitely put me in every space that I've been able to succeed, and every room to be able to meet you guys and everybody else. And just very, very thankful for the legacy that he's put on, and the work that he's done and continues to do, still lives and still moves. So just want to say rest in peace to Damo, and thank you for everything that you've been able to do.
Yes. And a great example of we are all planting seeds for trees that we are not going to see grow. Yeah. Like, not in our lifetime, but it matters.
So, well, Soraida, I just wanted to tell you, I love that you're doing this for our community. I mean, we have a lot of people that want things to grow in Salem, and you've been a big part of encouraging me. I mean, our lunches, sometimes you're asking me questions. I'm like, I didn't know this was going to be this way, but it makes me start thinking. And then that's Damo, big time. When Damian, I was at that, I think about 14th year, I was kind of like, do I need to try to find something else at this point of, I've done what I can do
to get refired
and
up.
He energized me. He also, it was about Salem, Damo could have gone anywhere after he left Willamette. I mean, he did go to Linfield, but we don't hold that against him. He had a vision for Salem in his mind, and he sold it to everybody.
Yeah.
Ty coming back. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Liz Gilligan running the Capitol Fieldhouse for a while, it just, he always had people that he knew fit certain positions. And when I told him I was thinking about moving to a different position, find something else for my last 10 years of working, he was like, no, you're not. He wasn't giving me an option. And, that's what our community needs to be about. Who can help us in areas? I mean, Colin Box. Colin and I, he was coaching my son when he started sharing his vision for CFC with me. And I shared it with one of the board members that was like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And he goes, you said he was too young to coach 3 teams. I go, 3 teams is a lot. I mean, age or not at the time. And then I came back to him and said, you better read his thing he wrote about the plan. Thank gosh the board did, because look at what he's done out there.
Well, it's just
and he's
amazing.
not just about soccer. He's about the community. I mean, he's at every Parks and Rec fun run in the summer with his kids, track and field. He's at the Stride events that Melinda runs for Parks and Rec. And it's just amazing everything he gets involved with because he's not about CFC soccer club. He's about the community
big,
of Salem.
beautiful team
Yep.
that we need, if we want to take it baseball, right? But you need the people in the front, you need the people in the back, but you need everybody there to make it work. And I just really am so excited on what is on the forefront with Salem and, that people are moving and thinking outside the box and we're not just letting the water be stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And I thank you for doing that for our community, bringing us all together to talk and maybe share. I mean, we're all on committees together and, we have a youth alliance committee that we meet a couple times a year and this stuff getting shared outside of that room.
And the good, I just want the good to people to know that, it's so quick sometimes for people to judge or we could have done this better. Like, let's celebrate the wins. Celebrate the wins and what's going well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I switched my question. It's not how are you doing? Because then people are like, man, my washer broke. And then I'm like, first world problems. It happens. What's going well? And then, just shift their mindset.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'll tell you what's going well. You too. In Salem. So thank you. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So everyone, I want you to look up NPJ. Go check them out. Sounds like they have adult stuff. You have a website, right? What is it?
Yeah, NPJ Sports Complex.
And then check out Softball City USA.
Yeah. And it's just softballcityusa.com.
Yeah. I mean, maybe go down there and just watch some adults play recess kickball. That could be entertaining.
Or join us.
Yes.
Yeah. Ty might be looking for some good kickers.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
A lot of good arms.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Arms.
Thank you, too. I appreciate you. Over and out.
Big shout out and a big thank you to Valor Mentoring that recorded the video and audio for this podcast, Changing Lives That Change Lives. And thank you to Remodeling by Classic Homes for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you so much for joining us at the kitchen table with Soraida and friends. Please follow us on social media. You can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts.